Previously on Revenge.
Was there someone else on that beach?
No.
Jack's been sitting on a hoodie that directly links him to the murder.
Just try to get him out of there for a couple hours.
What's that? On your sweatshirt, is that blood?
When you said you were going to use Lee as your pawn, you weren't kidding.
Checkmate.
If I'm going down, I'm taking you down with me.
Daniel, we're ankle monitoring.
Freeze! Hands up, don't move!
You're saying someone hanged himself.
And confessed to killing Tyler.
We have another David Clark-style situation. Is that Conrad?
The Graysons murdered my father. Absolution is the most powerful form of forgiveness. A full pardon from suspicion and accountability. It's the liberation of a stolen future. A future my father never lived to see. Absolution is a mercy the people who killed him will never know.
The timing of the confession and jailhouse suicide of drifter Lee Moran, coming just hours before the defense was to present their case, has raised suspicions among those who are carefully watching what many are calling the new trial of the decade. Judge Elizabeth Hawthorne spent all morning in chambers with the prosecution and defense teams. And now billionaire Daniel Grayson's fate hangs in the balance. And still, Grayson's innocence remains very much in question in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, I'll say.
You know, if the Graysons are behind all this, you're going to have to steer clear of Charlotte.
Like you did with Amanda Clark. Well, Charlotte's headed down a really bad path, and I'm partly to blame.
Well, exactly. Now that the Graysons know that you lied on the stand, there's no telling what they might do to you. Let me guess. You're working on your wedding invite list. I'm assuming your ploy to spring your fiancé actually works, but why wouldn't it? You're you.
These are the names of the prisoners from my father's cell block. I've identified everyone who was involved in the riots the day that my father was murdered.
Now what? Cross-referenced it with the Grayson Christmas card list?
Nolan, you know the man that stabbed my father was never identified. Conrad could have made payments to their families, could have arranged for early pardon for good behavior.
Another cover-up?
Conrad said on the phone, "I'm sorry to put us in this position again." If they killed Lee to silence him, it's a very strong possibility that they did the same to my father.
Where are you off to now?
I'm going to check on Charlotte. I'm worried about her.
Well, it's not exactly Dominic's best work. It's a little half-assed, if you ask me.
It's unfinished.
If I'd known you were such a masochist, I'd have volunteered to rub this salt in your wounds myself. Oh, come on. Where's the witty repartee?
If you're expecting me to reveal so much as a wince of pain at the hands of your emotional torture, you can forget it.
Wow. Color me disappointed.
Don't be, Conrad. When I choose to react, you'll know it. And I guarantee that you'll not just regret each and every one of your petty little torments, but that the suffering you so glibly spread around will come back at you tenfold.
Charlotte, it's Emily. Did something happen with Daniel? No, we're still waiting. How are you? I'm all right. Come in. What's all this? My version of father-daughter time. My mom won't tell me anything about him, so this is everything I could find on public record. And some that isn't. I found this hidden in the lining of my mother's jewelry box. Look at the date. April 22nd, 2002. The day he died. I wonder where she got this. He doesn't look like a monster, does he? No. He looks scared. That's what I think, too. I have to get to school.
comes, I give you everything that your father asked me to give you. I mean, why would I hold something like that back from you?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'll call you right back. I was only honoring your father. It's just...
You know how sick I am of hearing you say that.
It's the truth, I swear. In the last few months of his life, your father was paranoid and terrified and what? And he wouldn't have wanted you to remember him like that. I promised that I would protect your father's legacy, and that's exactly what I've done.
From now on, you stay the hell out of this, Nolan, or I swear to God I will make sure that you do.
From the moment of my arrest, I sat stupid and trusting, believing in a system rigged against me by the people that I knew as friends in a life that I can no longer remember. The closer I get to the truth, the louder the whispered voices around me, plotting my execution, choosing the time. I now know that I'm trapped in a race between fate and freedom. Whichever wins out, I won't go quietly, not again. CM will come tomorrow with proof.
CM? CM. Carol Miller.
Jack, don't worry. Declan is barely a blip on the Grayson's radar at this point.
What about Emily? Do you have any idea what she's about to marry into?
No, Emily's not exactly in the mood to absorb any more negative Grayson press right now. Especially from me. But maybe she would listen to you. Do you have a Ditko cup, by the way?
Why? Where have you got to be?
Contrary to popular belief, I do have a multinational company to run. I'm gonna be gone on business for a few days. All right. Call Jack. Call me.
Mr. Pop Quiz and Econ, laws of supply and demand.
Think I understand the concept?
Make this one last, Char. My dad's gonna start missing his script pad.
You're not the only guy in school with connections, Adam.
I better be the only one you're giving it up to.
Sorry. Bad day.
You gotta stop blowing off class. People are starting to talk.
Let them. I'll pull it together when this nightmare with my brother is over. Until then,
You staring at, wharf rat? Nothing.
Can we talk?
no. Let's get out of here, Adam.
University Hospital Archives.
Hi there, I'm just wondering, what are your hours?
7 to 4 Monday through Friday. If you'd like to request a medical record, I can mail you a legal form.
No, that's alright, I'll come in and get one later. Jack, come on in. How are you?
Actually, that was gonna be my question to you.
Can I get you something to drink?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. Can't be easy waiting to hear about Daniel's fate.
No, none of it's easy. You'd think that a written confession by someone would be enough for the judge to drop the charges, but...
Not to mention the bloody hoodie they found in his possession. It's kind of amazing the way it all worked out, don't you think?
How do you mean?
Just
The Graysons are very powerful people. Maybe the protesters aren't as far off as you might think.
Jack, Daniel didn't kill Tyler.
I'm not saying that he did.
Then what are you saying?
That there's some things you might want to think about before marrying into that family. Emily, there's something I need to tell you.
Excuse me. Hello?
They dropped all charges.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I'll be right there. Jack,
Sounds like good news. You should go get him.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry, I practically ambushed you. We can talk later.
You've had my business card for over 6 months.
Timing is everything, Mr. McGowan.
And now that you've cashed out your shares of Grayson Global, is it safe to assume that the stars are properly aligned for you?
Really? I want full immunity in exchange for the information I'm about to give you.
I can't guarantee anything till I know what we're talking about.
Now, if you can't offer me protection, I'm more than happy to go to your superiors at the SEC, or to the director of the FBI, the CIA, or any other agency who would like to lay claim to the conviction of a domestic terrorist.
Terrorist. I thought you had information about your husband's corporate malfeasance.
In this case, Mr. McGowan, they're one and the same. Now, do we have a deal or not?
Let me make a phone call.
Sure you're all right. I barely said 2 words.
Sorry about your car.
This will eventually die down. It's gonna be okay.
Congratulations, son. Welcome home.
Welcome home, Daniel. Daniel.
Thank God it's finally over.
It's a long way from over.
Daniel's a little shaken. Somebody spray painted murder on my car outside of the prison.
It's horrible.
Press were practically handing out pitchforks at the gate.
He's not far off. The Times are questioning the veracity of the confession. Page 6 is running a full-page chronicle of Daniel's past party boy ways, and Treadwell's anti-Grayson blog is being rerun in every major newspaper. The story isn't dying down anytime soon.
Well, then we'll starve the beast.
Daniel has nothing to hide. I think the best thing for him to do would be to get in front of the cameras, tell his story.
She's right. Best way to hit this is head on.
Well, all the majors are practically banging down the door. Nightline, Good Morning America. We can have our pick.
Listen, I haven't slept in over 48 hours. I can't make that decision right now. I'm gonna crash a while.
Yeah, of course. You need some rest.
Someone tell Charlotte, give her a big hug when I wake up.
Sweet dreams, darling. You deserve them.
Victoria, can I talk with you for a moment?
Of course.
I guess I'll see you all tomorrow.
Yes. What is it, Ashley?
Now that Daniel's been officially released, I'd like to formally give my notice.
Of course. I had no delusions that you would return to party planning after you so aptly showcased your other talents.
Unfortunately, I won't have time to find you a suitable replacement.
Oh, that won't be necessary. The Hamptons are filthy with ambitious young girls like yourself. May I ask where you've landed?
Mr. Brooks has offered me a media relations position at his law firm.
Oh, well. As Mr. Brooks is still on retainer to us, I would like to ask you a favor. If Daniel does indeed grant this ill-advised interview, I would like you to remain as our media liaison until it's over.
It's the least I can do for Daniel. After all he's done for me. Doctor, this is Sue Tucker at New Mercy Hospital. We're updating our system, and I needed to cross-check our records before confirming cause of death of a patient we shared. Her name is Carol Miller.
I'm afraid I don't recognize the name.
Perhaps it's because it's been a long time. She died here in 2002, but as you listed as her primary care physician in Lancaster, 5'5", born in 1950. Type 2 diabetic.
I have a Carol Thomas matching that description, but she's alive and well. That must have been a clerical error.
Yes, must have been. Thank you.
Can I help you?
Carol Miller?
You have the wrong house.
I don't think so, Miss Miller. Allison Rodner from the Department of Homeland Security. I need to talk to you about Conrad Grayson. You worked for Grayson Global as Conrad Grayson's personal secretary for 18 years, is that right?
Well, you obviously know the answer to that, or you wouldn't be here.
All right, then. What was the nature of your relationship with David Clark?
There was no relationship. He worked for Mr. Grayson, not me.
Were you surprised to hear that he was convicted for the downing of Flight 197?
No one saw that coming.
You did, didn't you?
Do you take sugar with your tea?
No.
Now, let me see that idea of yours again, and let's verify that you are who you say you are.
No. Hey, Carol. Just put down the gun.
Aunt Carol? What the hell is going on?
Aunt Carol, meet, Amanda Clark. David Clark's daughter. Look, after I dropped out of MIT and my old man kicked me to the curb, Aunt Carol took me in. She was the one that introduced me to your dad.
And then you betrayed him.
No, she didn't. She was always on his side.
Nolan came to me and told me he had formed a bond with David while he was in prison, and that he believed that your father had been set up. So I started investigating Grayson Global from the inside out, and that led me to a man named Roger Halstead.
Grayson, senior accountant.
Yes, he's the one that discovered the discrepancies in the books that connected Conrad to the terrorists.
Yeah, I know who he is.
He thought he had enough evidence to hang Conrad and exonerate your father.
Then why didn't you?
We never got the chance. When I went to the prison to tell your dad what Carol had learned, they were already in lockdown. David had just been killed. Carol, it's me. I need you to do exactly as I say. Get up and walk away from your desk. Do not take your purse. Just act like you're walking down the hall. Do it now.
You're scaring me.
Good. Get in the cab and take it straight to that place we went that one summer with the horses. Do not stop off at your apartment. I'll be waiting when you get there.
So, he saved my life.
By faking your death.
Tell her about the white-haired man.
There was a man who visited Grayson a handful of times. Now, these meetings were always off the books. The first time I saw him was a year to the day before that plane went down. The last time was the morning your father died.
Do you remember his name?
He never gave it. But I will never forget his face. He had a full head of white hair and ice blue eyes. And there was something so terrifying about him. And I know he frightened Conrad even in the bright of day.
I'm sorry, but I could not give you that last journal. This is bigger to me than your revenge against the Graysons. This is my...
I know. I would have done anything to protect mine, too.
What are you doing here? I wanted to give you this. My phone. How did you get this? I took it out of Tyler's jacket the night he was murdered. What? I'm the one who dragged his body up the beach.
You also the one who hit me? No. And I didn't see what happened. I heard gunshots, and I went to the water, and Tyler was lying there. I thought it was you, and then I heard Charlotte and Declan, and I panicked.
Well, so much for your stand-up image. You just gonna let him fry me?
I told you, I don't know who killed Tyler. But I do know one thing for certain. The bloody hoodie they found in Lee Moran's car didn't belong to Lee Moran. It belonged to me. I think your parents hired him to break in and steal it from me.
And then what convinced him to confess to the crime and hang himself? Why are you telling me this?
Because Emily trusts you. And if she's gonna spend her life with you, you owe it to her not to ignore this.
What are you doing? You have no right!
You might want to dial back on that indignation. You just violated honor code, not to mention state law.
You set me up.
You need help.
You're pathetic! If I'm getting kicked out of this school, so are you. Telling my dad to blow your tuition next semester. You're done here.
No.
Don't touch me. Mr. Brooks, I thought your work here was finished.
Nearly.
I hope you're not upset that I agreed to stay and work with the Graysons through Daniel's television interview. I should be able to start full-time the day after tomorrow.
I'm afraid that offer is no longer on the table, Ashley.
Why?
Victoria warned me you were a little tricky, so I did some digging. And I know you leaked those photos of Daniel to the press.
I did what anyone would do. You can't get beyond working for someone like Victoria Grayson without breaking a few rules.
I'm sorry. I waste enough time sifting through my clients' lives. I have no interest in doing the same with my employees.
Grayson?
The feds are here, Mr. Grayson.
The feds? What do they want?
They came with a warrant to seize everything.
What do you mean, everything? By whose authority? By the authority of the people of the United States. This is Agent McGowan of the SEC, Mr. Grayson. I suggest you set aside tomorrow morning to come down to the federal building and ask them questions. You're gonna want to bring your lawyer.
Daniel, thought you'd still be home sleeping.
I think I've been asleep long enough. Come here. You're still wearing it.
Of course I am. Why, are you having second thoughts?
I thought you might be. So much has changed.
Not to me.
What if those protesters were right? What if I didn't deserve that reprieve?
What are you talking about?
What if Lee Moran had nothing to do with Tyler's death?
I don't understand.
Why would a career criminal who was bold enough to extort my parents and set me up for murder suddenly have a crisis of conscience?
I don't know, maybe he finally realized he was in over his head.
Maybe. I decided to do that interview tomorrow.
You did. I'm so proud of you.
My parents raised me to be a Grayson. To put my name before everything, including the truth.
You don't need to be that guy, Daniel. Maybe this interview's an opportunity for you to be honest. Separate yourself from your name. And if it creates a bit of healthy distance from your parents, then all the better.
I'll grab my stuff. Still up?
I thought you'd gone to Emily's.
I came back to pick out my things. Saw your light was on. You alright?
No. I am most definitely not all right. It's nice to have you back, but our family is on the verge of absolute catastrophe, Daniel. And I bet the house, if my name were still on it, that your mother has everything to do with that.
That's enough, Dad. I'm sick and tired of the two of you playing me against the other.
It's understandable. You've been a pawn in our decrepit marriage for far too long. I owe you an apology.
No, what you owe me is the truth.
The truth? You know why the judge so kindly granted you house arrest instead of keeping you at Rikers? Yeah, they got beat to death. Did you also know that your mother paid someone to arrange that beating?
Lee Moran. The confession he wrote wasn't real, was it? Tell me you didn't have him killed.
No, the kid was in too deep. If he started talking, it would have destroyed us all. I couldn't let that happen. I do what I need to do to protect the family. I always have.
What did you do?
Before I tell you, I need you to promise one thing. That when they finally come to get me, that you will do whatever you can to rebuild the company and take care of your little sister.
Promise.
Would you close the doors? In order for any of this to make sense, I need to start at the beginning. With Dave Clark. And what we did to him and his innocent baby girl.
Charlotte? Whatever you want, Mom. I don't have time. I'm already late for school.
I just got off the phone with the headmaster. He told me about the suspension.
I guess we can add Teen Pill Popper to the Grayson Book of Shame.
This is no laughing matter, Charlotte.
Do you see me laughing?
I see you in pain. How can I help you if you don't let me?
I tried to let you, Mom. You weren't interested.
Whatever answers you're looking for, you are not going to find them in a bottle of pills. And you're certainly not going to find them reading this trash. Where'd you get this?
I begged you to tell me about my father, and you refused. I had to go searching on my own.
Sweetheart. Is this why you started taking drugs?
I don't know, Mom. I'm failing calculus. You do the math. Looking good. I missed you last night.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize how tired I still was until I got over here. Thanks for being so understanding.
You thought any more about how you want to handle the interview?
That's all I can think about.
Daniel, I know it's a lot. You talk so much about wanting to be your own man.
You know, what if the man I am is no better than my DNA?
Setting the record straight will help you break free from that. If you truly don't want to follow in your parents' footsteps, then don't.
I'll try not to take offense at that remark. A word with my son, please.
I'll see you out there, okay?
Oh, I long for the days before Emily Thorne and her self-righteous indignation became part of our daily lives. I shall learn soon enough. The downside of taking that kind of moral high ground is that you have a lot farther to fall.
Why did the judge grant me house arrest rather than keep me in prison?
Your safety was at risk, you know that.
And you had nothing to do with it?
My suspicions were right. You're not ready to talk to a reporter. I'm going to cancel the interview.
I'm not going to judge you. Just tell me your side of the story.
Who has been putting these crazy ideas into your head? Is Is it Emily? Your father?
Just tell me what's wrong.
Sorry to interrupt. Daniel, they're ready for you.
So, Daniel, 48 hours ago, you were in jail facing a murder 1 charge. Now you're a free man. How you doing?
A lot better than I was 48 hours ago.
Just for the record, did you murder Tyler Barrow?
Tyler threatened my whole family. He struggled for control of the gun. It went off, and next thing I knew, I was knocked out by the guy who finished the job.
Lee Moran.
According to his confession. The truth is, I'll never know exactly what happened between Lee and Tyler on that beach. I only know how it ended.
We saw you released from Rikers on the news yesterday. Occupy Daniel was even trending on Twitter. Are you surprised not only by the public reaction, but by the vitriol directed at you?
On one hand, yes. But on the other, I get it. People feel disenfranchised and fed up with the privileged minority who seem to abide by their own set of rules. Listen, if anyone commits a crime, no matter who you are, he or she should pay for it.
Speaking of which, the SEC has issued an order of investigation of your family's company, Grayson Global, a company you stand to inherit. Would you like to comment on the allegations of corruption and fraud?
My father is the victim of a witch hunt. The SEC has been harassing my family's company for months and is now attempting to trade on the mistrust the public has of me to build a baseless case against it. In my case, truth came out. The same will be true for my father, who I stand behind as a son and beside as a partner in business as I prepare for my role at Grayson Global. I hardly know what to say. Thank you.
So that's your plan? To go back to Grayson Global?
Well, no one said I can't be my own man and be my father's son.
That you are.
Daniel, we can sign this?
Sweetheart, get your coat. Why? Where are you taking me?
I'm not leaving without saying goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Grayson.
And don't forget this. Key to your new Lexus GS.
Excuse me?
You can either drive this out of the Hamptons forever, or you can drive it to your new parking space at Grayson Global. I can't speak for Brooks, but I, for one, admire someone who doesn't mind getting their hands dirty. As long as you understand that from this point forward, our hands will be intertwined.
And what about Victoria?
What both you and Victoria have yet to grasp is just how little she matters to anyone.
So no more Collins prep.
No. She told her dad to pull my tuition. There's nothing I can do.
There's something I can do.
Nolan, wait.
No, stop. Jack, I want to do this. Once upon a time ago, I was lucky enough to have someone take care of me when I needed it.
Look, I appreciate that, but we should be taking this opportunity to get away from the Graysons.
Exactly. You said you didn't want Declan to go to Collins Prep on the Graysons' dime, so now he won't be. He still deserves an overpriced education like everyone else, no? Barry, my man, I need you to cut a check to Collins Prep.
Every time I come back here, my memories always rush back to the moment I heard he died. And the first regret I had is how I held you from him. He would never get a chance to know you or you him. You can despise me all you want, Charlotte, but your father, he was a good man. He made one mistake that led him down a path of destruction.
I guess we have that in common.
There are so many things about you that remind me of him. Your eyes, your laugh.
Do you love me? Even though every time you look at me, you think of him.
Charlotte, don't you get it? It's because of that that I love you all the more.
Mom, somebody's been here.
Emily. You okay?
Here's a drink.
Anything in particular?
Dealer's choice.
I'll go get the good stuff from the back. Rough day at the office?
He's one of them, Nolan. Conrad confessed everything to Daniel before the interview.
Everything?
Daniel could have come clean. He could have ended the whole thing. But instead...
You doubled down on Grayson. So what are you gonna do now?
I'm gonna marry him. I'm gonna track down the man who killed my father.
And what are you gonna do when you find him?
I'm gonna kill him. Absolution is a washing away of sin. A promise of rebirth. And the chance to escape the transgressions of those who came before us. The best among us will learn from the mistakes of the past, while the rest seem doomed to repeat them.
Well, the truth is, I always liked David Clark. He was reliable, efficient, good-humored. I suppose the fact that he fit in so seamlessly around here is what made him so dangerous.
Sorry, Mr. Grayson, but that man's here again. He won't take no for an answer.
We all for today, Mr. Treadwell.
And then there are those who operate on the fringes of society, unburdened by the confines of morality and conscience. A ruthless breed of monsters whose deadliest weapon is their ability to hide in plain sight. If the people I've come to bring justice to cannot be bound by the quest for absolution,